Pesves דיבור המתחיל סקלמה לפי שאין בקיאים לשמו. So let's go through our Gemara. The Gemara says, my time, what's the reason we need בפניי נכתב ובפניי נחתם of the שליח? Says רבא לפי שאין בקיאים לשמו. אז the Gemara, לרבא לפי שאין בקיאים לשמו, ליבאי תראי, let's require two עדים. It's a problem of לשמה. The Gemara answer, לא. רוב בקיאים, ואפילו according to רבי מאיר, סתם גם לספר מגמר גמירי. Most of them I learned. If so, what do we need לשמו for? עם רוב בקיאים. וסתם מגמירי, יש לו חשש בכלל, נכון? לפסנת חשש, what do you need לשמו? The Gemara answer, because of, רבנו דעת צריכו, he might tell, בתוספות מהלך, he might gonna ask the סופר to write, and he gonna put a dim, there is a חשש like that. So, just a question that we asked before, but I think we can give different answer to that, Bezrat Hashem. When the Gemara said before, there is a mute, נכון? The Gemara understood base of a mute is not the reason that you need, נכתב לשמה. נכון? אני לא צריך אפילו עדים, אני לא צריך שליח בכלל. But the Gemara says, סתם ספרא דדיין before, כן. רוב בקיינן. When the Gemara says רוב בקיינן, that means I do not need בפניי נכתב ובפניי נכתב, נכון? When the Gemara answer רבונו דעת צריכוך משום מגונה כאילו ברבונון, is the need of רבונון now, is that a רוב or a mute?
It must be right.
It still cannot be, because it must be rov. You're right. It shouldn't be rov. What made the Gemara...
Still what? Rov?
Oh,
meaning, what's made the Gemara
it's not going to be me.
to come to Verabonanu de Atzruch, lama? Because the Gemara says rov bekiinen, נכון? לפי חכמים בעצם. It's a mute, נכון? So mute is not a reason to be mechayiv.
Right,
So the Gemara says, you know what's the reason? Because Rabbananu de Atzruch, he might go and ask the sofer. Is that rov or לא?
רבננו דעת is going to ask the סופר?
The way to misunderstand, שהבעל לא יגיד שהוא כתב כדי, he gave it to the סופר להתלמד בו, והוא החתים עליו עדים. So the chances like that the בעל נתן לסופר להחתים והחתים על עדים, it's מיעוט, נכון?
You can't say it's missed because hey says they weren't guys or something like that.
But that's a problem. That's a question. That's why I'm asking it as a question. If the Gemara conclude that rov bekiinen is a miut, it's not the reason sefer nechtam fana nechtam. How come because of Rabbananu de Atzruch, which is also miut, now I need to say b'fanai nechtam b'fanai nechtam? The question clear, Leo? No. The Gemara said, what's the answer of the Gemara? Why I don't need two edim?
It's a mute.
Why
I don't need two edim?
כי רוב בקיין.
Right.
Okay? That means מיעוט לא בקיין. Because of מיעוט I don't need edim and I don't need the shaliach to say even
Because of mute, we don't need
edim and I don't need the shaliach to say בפנה נכתב even.
Right.
So why do I need the shaliach to say בפנה נכתב?
I
don't know עצוך. When חכמים עצוך, the concern of חכמים.
There's a mute.
It's a mute. Right.
There's a mute. Rashi says one mute, Tosfot says a different mute.
Right, but whatever, it is a mute, Rabbanon Datzuch, in a different shot why, but everybody agreed that Rabbanon Datzuch it's a mute. If Rabbanon Datzuch it's a mute, what's the difference between the question and the answer? In the
What's
Shain,
the difference between
the question and the Havamin. In the Havamin we said, Rov Dayani Bekin, it's only a mute. On the answer we said, Rabbanon Datzuch, it's only mute. Why suddenly by mute of Rabbanon Datzuch we need to say, if mute will compel me to say, it's enough to hold it by Rov Bekiin. Since minority are not
You can
Bekiin.
always go back to the answer of the Gemara, שזה דבר שבערבה. אתה חייב עדות על זה.
Exactly, meaning, no, דבר שבערבה I need to have a basis to require עדות. So I'm saying, if you said Rov Bekiin and I don't have a basis to require עדות, I have only mute. But again, if you have mute, why do I need to enter another mute of Rabbananu de Atzruch when I have already this mute? So let's go to our Tosfot. Tosfot asked one, which is two questions. Tosfot said, in our stage in the Gemara, לפי שהם בקיאים לשמה, we understood what לפי שהם בקיאים לשמה means, because הם לא קיבלו.
במדינת הים הם לא בקיאים לשמה.
לא בקיאים, לא קיבלו עליהם לשמה. Correct, if so, it's a problem in the get itself, so it wasn't written לשמה. If so, how come when the Gemara said the Baal doesn't need to say לשמה? הבעל לא יגיד לשמה, if it's a problem with the get itself. Second problem, the Gemara in דף ה' said, שהבעל לא יבוא ויערער, נכון? But he said, if it's a problem, they don't know Lishma, and now we know Lishma, what's the reason for Baal not to be Me'arer?
Because we could have had a situation where the Baal left Medinat Hayam, went to go bring her the get,
And then he
at
said,
the
לא
time,
ידעתי.
עוד לא קיבלוה.
לא, לפני קיבלוה.
אני אומר, לפני כי עוד לא, אמרתי, עוד לא
כן, עוד לא קיבלוה, exactly, and that's to be still a problem. By the end of the day, הבעל יכול לומר, יש לי בעיה בגט, I didn't know the get needs לשמה. So this is a שאלה of תוספות. תוספות answer ואומר היא, דמסקינא בסמוך, we said later on, דרוב בקיאים. וסתם ספרי מגמירי, ולאי כאלה לאז. So simple פשט עם תוספות. Since we answer later on בגמורה, that it's only, או כולם יודעים, and it's only לאז. So באמת, if it's only לאז, we have no problem to require the Baal to be made that it was done לשמה. למה? Because it's only לאז, אבל I don't need.
בקיאים הם סתם...
בסדר, אני בקיאים, so it's only לאז. If it's only לאז, I don't need the Baal to testify, number one.
It's only last meaning that whoever...
חשש של לאז.
חשש of the Baal just coming in
כן, מתלונן, לאז. זה לא באמת problem in the get. So since it's only a לאז, therefore I'm not חושש for... Therefore I don't need the Baal. If he brought his own get, I don't need him to testify.
Because he's not, הוא לא יהיה על עצמו.
Number one, I don't need him to testify, because it's a לאז, זה לא באמת חשש. Number two, הוא לא יבוא ולערער על עצמו. This is תוספות.
זה שניים או זה אחד?
כי הוא שאל שתי שאלות תוספות. תוספות has two questions. A, why we don't require the Baal to testify when he brought the get. Second, why the Gemara said he's not going to be מערער. So you need to resolve both problems. So we don't require him because it's only לאז. חשש הוא מערער, לאז, אני לא חושש.
Who brought
That's
that
a
deal
pshat in Tosfos.
of Laz besides Tosfos?
Huh?
Well, I don't understand where Tosfos is. I understand he's saying it to Metzius that the Baal could that the Baal's he's gonna just gossip. He's gonna mighty lies. But where does he like understand the Gemara?
אתה שואל טוב. We'll talk about it. I think בעזרת השם. So the biggest issues of Tosfot, number one, if anybody will give such an answer, יזרקו אותו מהבית מדרש. כן? You're asking on the Hava Amina of Tosfot, of the Gemara, and you're answering me, how come in the Hava Amina I don't need to testify? No, you already knew the maskana. If you knew the maskana, so what's the Hava Amina? So then the biggest issue you have, the makshe. The Gemara asks in between, let's require two. So Sefer is first the following two Tosfotim. Why is the makshe answer require two? If already knew the maskone, it's only laz. Why do I need to aid him for laz? So says תוספות, המקשה לא ידע את המסקנה. כאילו, ככה לא לומדים גמרא. meaning, לא make sense, לא לומדים גמרא. זה דאבה מיני, they knew the מסקנה, the מקשה didn't know, and they answered, כאילו, מה קורה פה? The biggest, and then תוספות comes say, and the Marshal needs to say, by the way, he didn't know the Mishnah, כאילו...
First of all, that could have just answered Taisa's question.
מה?
That could have
שהוא לא ידע. כן, דאבה מיני, he didn't know. Why we don't say that we didn't know? לא מובן. So, I mean, what you're saying, Rav Rafael, meaning why, I think it's a good question, why Tosfos, if Marshal can hold that the Makshe didn't know, it's better to answer that.
How does that answer Tosfos' question?
How
does that answer
Let's say, Tosfos asked from the Gemara, from the Braise, you should say that he didn't know.
Right.
Meaning, why don't you give that answer on Tosfos' question?
Oh, Taisus didn't like that answer. Taisus didn't like that answer.
Yes, how can you use it?
Yeah.
שומע הרב ליאור? Why in the Hava Amina we didn't say Tosfos Marshal's פשט? מאיפה השאלה של התוספות? We see later on, the Mishnah, הבעל לא צריך לומר בפני נכתב. Just like the Marshal says, שהמקשה לא ידע, same thing tell me that, Hava Amina לא ידע. לא יודעים, אז לא יודעים, עד הסוף. The biggest shaila that we have to ask, the bomb question, that when the Gemara answer Rav Bkiinen, ואפילו רבי מאיר, סתם סתם עדיין נגמר גמירה, the Gemara understood at this point, you don't need neither redim, neither בפני נכתב. I had a big argument with our lab this morning. We were going in circles. I'm like, לך תביא art scroll. So he brought art scroll in Hebrew and he argued with me, and then I showed him in the English and he agreed with me. So that's a pshat. So I'm saying it because you cannot question on it. If in art school, so, no, that's the pshat. No, that's a really right. That's a posh pshat. In art school, that's a posh. So posh pshat after Rav Bkiinen,
No, but our school, they take whichever they hold as the simplest. Sometimes it's Taisus, sometimes
No,
it's
no,
Ramban,
no,
sometimes
no.
it's Rashi. It's not
Well,
always
No,
that's
no,
right.
but they have they take the simple pshat. They don't bring chidushim. The only time
They
they're going to
take
bring
the one that makes
Tosfos,
the
they
most
take
sense.
Rashi. They're
It's
going to
simple,
bring
you gotta say
Tosfos when
simple.
necessary.
Well,
Yeah, you said the same thing.
Simple
But
and
weiter. So we have to give shiur martzul. So the shaila is so therefore so that's our shaila. Our shaila would be if lefi according to the answer of Tosfos that in the Ava Amine the Makshe knew the answer of the Gemara. If you know already the answer of the Gemara that it's only a last, what's the Ava Amine that we need בכלל? בפניי נכתב ובפניי נחתם. זו השאלה הכי חשובה, הרב ליאור.
In last should require zero, not one.
למה? The shaila of the Gemara is my time, what did בפניי נחתם? אומר רבא לפי שאין בקיאים לשמה. The Rebbe Tosfot understand those words. אמר רבא לפי שבקיאים לשמה because last, like we said later on. But if it's because last, I don't need even בפניי נכתב ובפניי נחתם. מה קורה פה? What's going on over here? So how can...
Unless you like
If
Bnei
it's
Yeshua.
because of
Gemara
last,
said
that's
that
the
the
reason.
Gemara-
The
No,
reason
that's the
that
Gemara was saying. The Gemara said, "Rabbi B'kin, so you don't need anything."
That's it. That's our brother school.
Good.
Gemara said, at this point, I don't need anything.
saying there's no bit.
Right. The Chachomim mudar tzruch because of Chashash. But based on that, I don't need anything. If I don't need anything, what will be the answer of Tosfot? So,
Bnei Yeshua said something.
Bnei Yoshua,
He just says that he
said
he said it included
it's
Rabbanan
including
Datzruch.
Rabbanon Datzruch. הוא באמת הרג את תוספות. בני יהושע really made תוספות all the maskona of the Gemara. Meaning not only the רוב בקיאים וסתם ספרי דיין מגמוד מירי, he add also ורבנון דאצרוך, החומר required. והתוספות לא אומר את זה. איך אתה אומר את זה בתוספות? So what's compelled them to say? What's compelled the בני יהושע to say ורבנון דאצרוך? כי בלי רבנון דאצרוך, why do I need בכלל לפענך את האופן הנחתם? Right? So what's going on here? So תני לי בסייעתא דשמיא ככה. When we said in the Gemara לפי שאין בקיאים לשמה, who is not בקיא לשמה? כן, מהדיינים. יפה? So,
Everybody.
it's that, כן, לא בקיאים לשמה. עכשיו, אין בקיאים לשמה, is that, who is that the problem? Is that the problem on the דיינים who wrote the get, שאין בקיאים לשמה, נכון? That's one way to look. The other way to look, it's problem on the get itself. So there are two ways to understand, not mamish chefze gavre, but chefze gavre is within it. There are two causes. Either the get itself is not a good get, because they don't know lishma, or the dayanim lo bakim lishma is not a problem in the get, it's a problem in
But that's a mamela.
the dayanim.
Mamela,
No,
that's only a problem.
I'm just trying to open up, like a dough. You do one layer and then so the two studies. Either it's a problem on the get, or a problem on the dayanim. So let me say the flow of the Gemara without interruption, and then I will explain it. בסדר? So the Gemara said at the beginning, לפי שאין בקיאים לשמו. At this point, the Gemara understood that לפי שאין בקיאים לשמו, it's a problem on the get itself. They don't know לשמו, so the get, it's not a good get, it's fundamental problem in the get. Therefore, Tosfos, if it's a fundamental problem in the get, how come the husband doesn't need to say lishma? The husband should say lishmo, and it can be ma'arer. Says Tosfos, even in the Ava Amina, we knew the maskoni. What does that mean? So let's go again now, stick back to the Gemara. So the Gemara says, lefi she'en bekiim lishmo. We understand that the dayanim are not baki lishma. So at this point we understand that it's a problem in the get itself. It's not a good get. Frek the Gemara, frek the Makshe, if it's a problem in the get itself, liba etrei mididea ve'akol kadosh b'Torah. Since I need, any Yiddush b'Torah needs to, this get it's not as a problem. נכון, אולי זה לא נכתב לשמה. That's required to. The Gemara answer, לא. באמת רוב דיינים בקיאים, meaning the problem of the dayanim, the Gemara in the answer, it's not a problem in the get. When you go to Beit Din, you're not questioning the get. Who do you question in Beit Din? Does those dayanim know the halachot? When you question whether the dayanim knew the halachot, you're not questioning the get itself. you מוציא לעז on the דיינים, they don't know the הלכות. The word לעז, by the way, in Shas, as far as I know, applies to people, not on objects. כמו דגמור says in, יש עליו הורים, בלעז, דגמור in, יצא עליו שבן גרושה או בן חלוצה הוא. דגמור it does few times. או עם מכות, יפה. לעז it's on people. So it says Tosfos, based on the answer of the Gemara, guys, I'm giving you, this is only 30%, so if you have other questions, it's fine. But just to first basis. Says Tosfos, this answer, based on the answer of the Gemara, it's not a problem on the get itself. It's a problem on the dayanim, on the people, la'az on the people. Says Tosfos, since it's a problem on the people, on the dayanim, and it's not a problem in the get itself, they already knew that in the Hava Amina. It's not that in the Hava Amina they agreed with the answer of the Maskana. Or rather, they just agree with one piece of the Maskana. What's the piece of the Maskana they agreed? That this Chashash, it's a La'az, and it's not a problem in the Etzem on the get itself. That's resolving Tosfos' question. Tosfos asks, how come the Baal doesn't need to testify when you have a chashash on the get? And to Tosfos, זה לא chashash on the get itself. It's a chashash on the dayanim. It's a laz on the dayanim. Then you don't need the Baal to testify on the dayanim. If you're testifying on the get itself, it's a problem. You need to testify. You come with a get. Tell me if this get was mechubar or לא mechubar. Since here it's a shaila only on the dayanim, not on the get, therefore the Baal doesn't need to testify. לפי זה, עד פה בסדר? No question. No, if you have questions, I'm okay. But you understood מה אני אומר?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the problem we have, how do you build the makshe into the story? So what was the makshe holding? So far we know, in the Hava Amina, we thought, problem in the get, so לפי זה, Tosfos אומר, even according to Maskona of Tosfot, in the Hava Amina, לפי שאין בקיאים לשמה, problem in the get, it's not problem in the dayanim, it's not a problem on the get. Therefore,
you're saying Ruben Keenhan is the Dayanim.
According to Tosfot conclusion. Now we're talking according to Maskona of Tosfot, okay? Later we'll go back to what, again, we can repeat the Hava Amina and Maskona of Tosfot. So עכשיו Maskona of Tosfot. Maskona of Tosfot, that in the Hava Amina we knew the Maskona. What's we knew the Maskona? We knew that it's a problem on the dayanim, and it's not a problem. No, but according to Tosfos' answer. Vomer, we knew the maskona of the Gemara. So la'az, it's a problem on the dayanim, it's not a problem on the get itself. So therefore, in the Hava Amina says the Gemara, לפי שאין בקיאים לשמה means...
even though he said לפי שאין
בקיאים. אין בקיאים, הדיינים.
according to the Magmiri,
אתה כבר בסוף מגמר, אני בהתחלה.
אתה אמרת במסקנה של התוספות.
Maskana Tosfot, he said the Hava Amina.
עכשיו, according to Maskona of Tosfot, how do you learn the Gemara in the Hava Amina?
How do you learn the Gemara in the...
מתחיל מההתחלה, לפי שאין בקיאים לשמה. לפי שאין בקיאים לשמה. How would you learn?
לפי שאין בקיאים לשמה.
לפי תוספות מסקונה.
זה לעז.
זה רק לעז, זה לא בעיה בגט.
זה לעז על הדיינים.
על הדיינים, it's not a problem in the anthem of the get.
חשבתי לעז על האישה.
לא, על הדיינים, לעז על הדיינים.
לעז על האישה.
הדיינים, לעז עליהם, שהם לא יודעים. What?
That's the Hava Amina?
The Gemara, again, Tosfot Maskone. We're talking about Tosfot Maskone. In the Hava Amina, we know the Maskone. So what we are saying...
במסקנה שהם בקיאים.
לא! שזה לעז. That's what I'm trying to emphasize now. The only thing they know in the Hava Amina that it's a laz. They didn't in the Hava Amina hold that it's a mute.
We don't know yet that it's a mute.
In the Hava Amina, we didn't know it's a mute. In the Hava Amina only we knew.
Where did Laz come from? I don't
Tosfot אומר לך, the Gemara says later on.
Where is the Gemara says later on?
Okay, whatever, Tosfot got it from, but בוא נמשיך, שנייה, יש זמן. בסדר, לא, זה שאלה טובה, נגיע לזה, אל תפחד. זה הבסיס עכשיו. So, again, לפי זה. On the Hava Amina, we understood שזה התוספות מסקונה עכשיו, נכון? In the Hava Amina זה בעיה בדיינים, it's about דיינים, not בעיה in the get itself.
שהם יוציאו לך.
Yeah, it's last on the דיינים, not on the get itself. פרק די גמורה, פרק די מקשה, but hold on, let's require עדים, נכון? Why would I require edim if it's a problem on Laz?
Because
נכון? The מקשה asks, let's require two edim. If it's a Laz, why do I need two edim? Says Tosfot, the מקשה didn't know the maskana.
right.
So לפי זה, the מקשה understood
Which mascada?
that it's a problem שזה Laz.
Not Tosfos, not the Marsha.
Tosfot, לא, that's this
There's a
Tosfot.
difference.
Libai Trey.
He says something in my shop.
לא, מרשו said they didn't know the Mishnah. Tosfot לא, ליbai Trey says,
Right.
הקאטי לא ידע עד הפרישי.
מרשה אומר בית וגם משנה.
לא. בסדר, לא, נדבר על תוספות תוספות says, בעקבות תוספות,
Okay,
that the מקשה didn't know the maskone. So how would the מקשה understood the Hava Amine
Yeah.
if he didn't know the maskone? The chidush of the maskone, that is a problem of Laz. If the מקשה didn't know the maskone, he understood that his problem is on the get itself. Therefore, the מקשה asks, if it's a problem in the get itself, let's require two. מדדעה הכל ידוע שבתורה. Not clear?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So, what's the answer? So again, so in the Avami Lefi Shebikim Lishmo, it's a problem, we
Dayanim.
understand the Dayanim. The Makshe didn't know the answer of the Gemara. He understood that it's a problem on
You get it so.
the get itself. He
And
said,
the
let's
two.
require two. So if you think about it, without the Makshe, do you have any problem over here? Do we need to come into the pshat of the Gemara later on? ורבות לנו דעה צוך והכל.
בגלל ליבאי, דעת המקש ליבאי.
Yeah, the way a Makshe understood the Gemara wrong, we need to come to the answer of the Gemara.
Perfect.
But,
Why not Rove?
because the way a Makshe understood the Gemara, that problem with the Dayanim, it's a problem on the get itself,
Right.
then
Oh,
I
no,
need
doesn't have-
Eidim, then I need Eidim.
Or why isn't Rove?
No, before Rov. Meaning, on the Ava Mine of the Gemara,
Yeah, that's Avis.
that all of the Rov Dayanim, on the Ava Mine that most of the Dayanim don't know. And it's a problem on the Eidim. נכון? Do we have any problem in our sugya? Everything was perfect. In the Ava Mine, everything was perfect. Lama? It's only a Laz. Laz, it's a problem on the Dayanim. It's not a problem on the get itself. So therefore, I don't need two Eidim. I only need the Shaliach to say, בפניי נכתב ובפניי נחתם. Then I resolve the problem of the Dayanim. And I have no problem בכלל. So based on the Ava Amine, the Gemara ends over here. The only reason the Gemara continued because of the understanding of the Makshe. So עכשיו ככה. The Makshe הבין that it's a problem of Dayanim. It's really a problem on
The shtar.
the get itself. Lama? What's the logic behind that? He holds, look, if most of the Dayanim don't know, that means that the get is bad. If most of the Dayanim don't know, it should be reflect on the get, not only problem of Dayanim, should
Wait,
be...
Who said
Adama?
who said that the thing was on Laz? Again, that was
Not the
that's
Maskone.
Maskana of the
Maskone of the Gemara that it's Laz.
It's a Maskana of the
Gemara
Gemara
said
that
later
it's
on that
Laz.
it's Laz.
Makshe doesn't see.
It's not about Laz בכלל.
It's not about Laz. It's about the
Get.
it's about the get itself.
Right.
And because it's about the get itself, it's saying בכל עדויות שבתורה, then bring two.
יפה מאוד.
Okay, and
So he said, well, if it's a problem in the get itself, if so, how come I don't need to aid him?
right.
The Gemara answer, you know why I don't need to aid him? Because a different reason. Because it's only a mute. If it's a mute, what is it?
Now he's answering back in the Laz and he's saying that
We're answering-
כל הדיינים בקין.
It's not Laz.
Yeah, we're answering back to the Makshe.
And so the
Then
Makshe didn't know
said-
שכולם בקין.
פשוט he didn't know, that's it.
Right.
That's the next part of the Gemara. So he didn't know שכולם בקיאים.
why don't you have a
So שנייה, so אנחנו עולים למקשה, מה אנחנו אומרים למקשה? אומרים למקשה באמת רוב דיינים בקיאים. So it's only a מיעוט of דיינים. Since it's only a מיעוט of דיינים, you have no problem on the get itself. But it's still not working, למה? Because according to the מקשה, if it's, so I just want to tell
Oh,
you.
that's why you have Rabbanon de Atzruch. That's why you have
יפה מאוד, זהו.
Because Rabbanon de Atzruch is going on the get.
Oh!
Answer.
Excellent, יש כבוד. Okay, that's too fast, שנייה. So, in the Ava
You're
Mine...
gonna get there wrong,
right?
pass out.
So, at this point, instead of the Makshe, the answer of the Gemara is, Rabbanon Udat, The answer of the Gemara is, רוב בקיאים. If רוב בקיאים, then the problem in dayanim, it's not a problem on the get itself. So רוב dayanim, it's an external problem. Since it's a מיעוט, to answer the מקשה, it's not a dayanim problem, it's not a get problem, it's a dayanim problem. If it goes on, again, if it goes on, רוב דיינים לפי המקשה, רוב דיינים לפי המקשה זה בעיה של, רוב דיינים לפי המקשה, it's a problem on,
רוב דיינים,
according to the מקשה, it's a problem on
the get itself.
מיעוט דיינים, you can't tell me it's a problem on the get itself. מיעוט דיינים, it's problem on the דיינים. Then you have no problem. עכשיו, what החידוש של מיעוט דיינים? It's only a last. It's not a problem on the get itself. Go back. When we said at the beginning that חכמים, that in the Ava Amini knew the Maskone, he just knew the approach of the Maskone that it's a Laz. In the Ava Amini, I understand Laz applies to all of the even Rov Dayanim, it's still a Laz. לפי המקשה רוב דיינים, it's a problem in the get.
רוב דיינים בקיאים?
כן, רוב דיינים בקיאים. So לפי Ava Amini, it's a problem in the get. The Gemara answered, לא, when we, in the מקשה we understood, רוב, people, most of them don't know. כפי שהם בקיאים לשמה, therefore it's a problem of the get. The Gemara answer, לא, באמת, it's problem, not part of the get, because of its מיעוט דיינים. So because of מיעוט דיינים, what do I need so far? Do I need בפני נחתם בפני נחתם? because מיעוט דיינים לא. למה? because you have problem with דיינים, it's a loss. You need דיינים כל שכן, you don't need. If so, what do you need בכלל לפני נחתם בפני נחתם? Says the Gemara, well, no, that's what it's a problem on the get. Maybe the get itself was found somewhere.
Right.
Therefore, if it's a problem on the get itself, I understand why I need a officially edim, and למעשה I'm comfortable with the פני נכתב.
Because the get itself was found somewhere, or according to the other Tosfot?
לפי תוספות, whatever the pshat is, but it's a problem on the get.
It's a problem on the get.
It's a problem on the get. רבון נתן, it's a problem on the get. Since it's a problem of the get, therefore, I do need בפני נכתב ופני נכתב. So that's the... לא, אחי, עוד לא עכשיו.
And how does this answer Tez's question? Tez's question was, why does the husband have to say?
Okay, let's go back to Tosfot. Let's go back to Tosfot asked. Let's go to Tosfot asked. How come we now have been in the Gemara? לפי שהם בקיאים לשמו.
Let the answer this question. Fuck if it's.
יש לך את זה? יפה.
I don't know if I have it.
So גסט.
Because according to Tosfot, if it's Laz on the Dayanim. If it's Laz on the Dayanim, then the husband doesn't need him on Fnei Nechtam.
כי לאז on דיינים, the husband testify on the get, not on the דיינים. Since the whole issue over here, it's a דיינים problem, the Baal doesn't need to testify. If it's a problem on the get itself, you need to testify on the get.
But why can the husband come and say, oh, the Dayanim didn't know?
Talking about דיינים. No. The second part, how can we... Why cannot say the Yanim didn't know? Right?
No, why can't he just say it wasn't written well?
No, so first question is answer, clear?
What first question?
Why we don't require him to
Why?
give
Why?
edus on
I
the
still don't
get?
understand why.
Because you're not made on the get, you're made on the Dayanim. Dayanim is not a requirement of the get.
That's the Halamina of the Gemara. So it's just coming on Halamina.
He's not going to claim
Why
his youth.
why doesn't the husband need to come and say Fanachta?
Why he doesn't need? Because he doesn't test. If it's a
Because
problem
any
with
claim
the
that he's
get
going to
itself,
have, can I just
then he needs to. But if it's a problem with Dayanim, he doesn't need to testify who are the Dayanim.
And
The old
Shaliach
Dayanim it's
does?
Laz. The old Dayanim it's Laz. Since old
Who's
Dayanim.
last? The husband.
No.
Well, what does Laz mean?
No.
Laz mean worried somebody's
Laz
going to
is
be
the
motzi Laz on
Dayanim
it.
saying they're bad, it's a problem about them.
No,
That's
what does
Laz
Laz mean? The Choshim Le'irur. That's Laz, right?
No,
Laz means
Laz
Irur.
means it's a problem on the Dayanim.
No, but what does Laz mean? We're using this word freely. Laz means that we're Shiyotziu Laz alein.
יפה.
Right? So we need to prevent that with Fanachta Fanachtam.
יפה, אבל בעל
Okay.
doesn't need to.
Why not?
So,
ולמה שליח
לא,
כן?
למה הוא צריך לומר כן? כי if it's a problem on the get, I require the shaliach to protect. But it's a problem from Irur, the Baal is not going to be מערער.
Why is it not going to be mine?
Because he's not going to be
It was
gonna
holding
claim
it,
his
it's not going to be
youth.
מערער.
So what, he can come later and say, I gave you a get, it was garbage.
No, again, if the Baal would come and be מערער on the get itself, we have חשש. To be מערער, the Dayanim are not good, I have no חשש.
No, he's been mad on the get because of the Daniel.
No, again, but according to the Ava Amine,
And what about the
Laz,
Shaliach?
it's
So
not
what's
part.
the Shaliach you have to say?
because he's not holding the get.
So what?
God himself brings the get. We're not sure she's going to be motzi Laz on people. But if a shaliach brings the get, the Baal might be motzi Laz on people. That's the
Right,
pshat of the Gemara. That's the pshat of the Gemara. When the Baal himself brings the get, to be motzi Laz on people, something that he gave already, we are not choishesh.
What's
When the
different?
shaliach gave the get,
ממה נפשך, he's not being mighty laz on the get he's bringing. Who cares if he brought it or not?
no, זה בגלל נפקא מינה. If shaliach brought the get, he is a man דאומר to be moitzi laz on the dayanim. He has an interest to do so. So therefore we need the shaliach to say בפנאי נכתב to prevent
What's his interest? His interest is he doesn't want to get divorced.
Okay, he never wanted to happen.
Okay, and when he brings the get, same thing.
No, ענת חושש.
Why not?
Okay, you ask him the Gemara, not asking the Pshat.
No, because
Gemara
without
said-
the
Gemara
Rav
said-
no, because without the Rav Pike, the Gemara very differently.
one that-
Without the Gemara, the question is,
Not the one that he
if the
brought.
husband brought it, then we're not going to be choshesh that he messed up the get.
No, but
It's
again,
the get
no,
itself.
but can be still problems in the get without the husband.
What?
If the husband bring it, if you have a problem of Lishmo, right? The husband bring it.
So
It's not a
that's
problem of Lishmo.
we're talking about choshesh to the other problems because we
No.
say we're b'kim. The only problem we're choshesh is with the husband. Well, if the Rav, even in the way that Gemara understood in the Havamina, it's not that the Gemara Mamish knew there was no problems at all. We did think there could be problems. The only thing is that the husband side of things were not. We're just cheshish to the last of the dayan.
Yפה. So
In
the
that case,
husband-
anybody
So
can
again,
always be
the
cheshish.
husband is not going to, this is the word of Tosfos of Laz on the Dayani.
Right, I know.
They
It's the
can
word, it
make
is,
a
it,
shafilu
it is the
lelaz.
words of Taisus, the way the
Those are the
Rav
last.
learns the Gemara, but I don't understand what's the
No,
difference.
so the logic is when the dayan, when the husband brings the get, he finishes his mind. To be choishes, to be motzila the dayanim, it's far away. But if it's not only a laz, if it's not only a laz, it's a fundamental
You're
choishes.
saying a little bit like the Ran, that when the husband brings it, he's more Gomer B'daita, so either we
Yeah, that's it, I have to say, yeah.
כאילו מאוד פשוט, כאילו אני רואה את זה ככה, that whatever the husband is claiming, when he brings the get, any claim that he's making an Yerur is laz, like what the rabbi is saying, it's on the Dayanim. He's not going to claim Ziyuf, he's not going to claim Zuyaf. You understand?
Right.
So it's not going to be on the contract itself, it's only on the person.
On the Dayani.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's far
And
away
that's
if
why
he
it's
wrote the get
laz.
already. Right, that's why it's laz. So,
We're saying that we're just saying we're clearing up that that's far off. It's far off, but it's not far off to say on the get. There's something wrong. I'm just trying to understand. Like you're splitting them up. It's very hard to split up when they're both.
So what I just understood, is that we're not cheshish to the husband being mahar when he brings it.
because
That's the difference. Since
Because the only
what?
freaking thing he can
if
say
you
is
have a
laz.
relationship,
That's
if
too
we're-
far.
Laz
זה
זה
לא
לא-
ש- זה לא מספיק חזק, זה לaz על הדיינים.
I think we don't have to say that. I think that's even now you're saying chiddush. Even without that, simple. If you're worried about the get not being kosher, there's no way around. The husband's gonna have to say. But over here, we're not worried about that. All we're worried about is the husband being ma'ar. When the husband brings himself, we're not choshesh to that. That's it.
Yeah.
why are we chayshish?
אתה לא יכול
What?
להגיד
Why are
שהוא
we
מערער
chayshish?
על
Because
הגט.
he brought it.
לאז על הגט
But it has
זה
nothing to do with-
מוביל
לא צריכים להגיד because it's a far-fetched laz, you know?
חכמים.
Yeah,
לא,
but
לפי
תוספות
תוספות זה לא.
תוספות
מה
says
זה לאז
laz.
על הגט?
אה?
But he says
מה
laz.
זה לאז על הגט?
לא, זה לעד על
It says
האלה.
laz.
No.
laz is
זה
not
על
far-fetched.
האישה.
כן,
לא.
אבל שוב.
laz by definition is
זה
not
לא חלק,
far-fetched.
לכן זה נקרא רק לאז.
לא, אבל
המילים
אמרת
של...
שזה יכול להיות
לאז is different.
לא על אבג'קט.
I don't think so.
לאז.
לאז,
בן
לא,
אדם.
נכון
You would
שיש
say-
השלכה לגט כמובן,
Yeah,
אבל אני מדגיש
תוספות
שהמילה
says,
לאז
you
שייכת
relate
על אנשים.
laz. It's not just in
כיוון
you,
שזה
it's
בא
you relate
לאנשים זה
laz.
חלק
What does that
נפרד
mean?
מהגט.
Misinformation.
אז אם זה
Rule
קרה,
means
זה
the
יהיה לי
act of
בעיה.
misinforming.
אבל אם הוא לא אמר, אין לי עדיין בעיה
Yerur could be
בגט
a
עצמו.
credible,
אבל אם זה חלק מהגט,
Yerur on the
אם
get
מישהו
is
ידבר,
Yerur.
יש לי
Rule is the
בעיה.
action.
I disagree.
Laz is the outcome.
אם זה דין
I
על
know
האנשים,
language,
רק אם הוא
laz
ידבר,
is
פתאום
a
אנשים נהיו
misinformation.
בעייתיים.
Telling you.
Okay, but
No, see, laz
then,
means
so but
to-
according to what you're saying,
That's
but
what
Yerur is not misinformation.
No, Irur is anything. Irur means contesting something. Al yedei laz.
Yafeh. So okay,
Okay.
so we're agreeing. So
No,
laz is
I'm just
chalta.
saying that the point isn't that it's far-fetched. The point is because all we're
Because the
worried about is
husband
laz, you're not choshesh when the husband brings it. That's the idea. We don't have to come on to, oh, it's far-fetched. It could be very close-fetched. I don't care. There's no difference. The husband, the point is, we're
Wait,
not
could be
choshesh.
close fetch, it could be laz.
But they're saying the same
Yeah,
thing.
laz just means that we're not worried about the get itself. We're just worried about the husband spreading misinformation. So when the husband himself is the one who brings it, we're not worried about him spreading misinformation. Is that what I'm saying? It's not about.
I don't think I'm saying
It's not about
different,
how
so-
far-fetched or how close-fetched the misinformation is. Laz just means misinformation. Doesn't make a difference.
Again, laz means misinformation. Yeah.
הוא אומר זה כמו ישראלי, אתה אומר זה כמו קלפי, זה בסדר.
לא, כאילו זה לא, מה אכפת לי זה far-fetched, לא far-fetched, זה עניין של
כן,
כאילו לא
כן,
חושבים
כן.
את זה.
But why are you chayshish? Because of the base that's not far-fetched. Or what?
What?
But why? But there's a basis.
I
why,
don't even
there's a basis
understand
why you're
how
not
far-fetched
chayshish.
or close-fetched fits
You
into
have
the
to.
context over
You
here.
have to say there's not chashash based on something. You can't show no, there's no chashash. What's the why isn't
The
it?
chashash is that the husband's going to be mighty laz.
No, but so you're saying that's not a chashash. Why?
It's a
There you
mute.
go.
But you have to say why. You can't just say oh.
Okay,
it's
so we
not
say because when the husband brings it, and do you? I want to understand it. It's a good question. We tried to understand it when we based on Aleph also. That's obviously what Taisus holds. Taisus holds when the husband, and we learned it in Rashi also, right? The first Rashi in the thingy. When the husband brings it, for some reason we're not choshesh to him being mighty laz.
So, עכשיו, מה דבר עכשיו, like, you know, אז since the questions were so hard, we have to come up with such an understanding that לפי זה, it's so smooth now. When we say לפי שאין בקיאים לשמה, doesn't mean they knew the מסכונה. מה זה knew the מסכונה? זו המינה. They knew the approach of the מסכונה. This is the approach we define them as las. They knew that in the Hava Amine. The Makshe didn't know the approach for A. In the Hava Amine. Whoever said, the Gemara.
Okay.
And since the Makshe didn't know that approach, that it's a las,
So he asked his question.
he asked his question.
Because he
What
knows
an
that
ask.
to get that small.
And if to a problem on the Dayanim should be a problem on the get itself. Therefore, we lowered it into a minimum, then it's not problem on the Dayanim. Problem on the Dayanim is not problem on the get itself. And the Gemara cannot bring it as a mute, as a problem. Because since mute of the problem is not problem in the get itself, I shouldn't require anything. The Gemara had to come, it became mute, it's a problem in the get. What's really pushed me to say like that, when I read the word of Tosfos, ve'oimeri, he didn't say the makshe nu dava, the answer of that. I mean, that's what understood from it. If he thought like that, he would have said. I just want to read it inside.
As soon as the Rav said the pshat, I looked inside and I saw it just says the maskina.
The maskina, right, זה מה טוב. זה maskina בסמוך, דרוב בקיאים הם, וסתם ספרי גמירי, ולכאלה לעז בעלמא. דמסתומה שלא כדין יערער. ואחר שמביאו הבעל בעצמו, לקה למיכה שאפילו ללעז, דתו לא מערער, כדאובר בסמוך וגדול בידי. So he never said we are, the maskina, that's the understanding. I want to jump into the Marsho 1 second. זהו, פני יהושע לא עבדתי עליו בכלל, because I was trying to answer Tosfos, not פני יהושע. פני יהושע, because of that question, so obviously פני יהושע understood that it's the same problem according to פני יהושע. According to Mashiach, throughout the way, problem in the Adim is problem in the get itself. That's why, when the Adim is the get, that's why I need to come up with the maskon of the Gemara. So it's not לפי שמקיים לשמה, והמקשה דפרך לי בית רי. ואחת היא לא ידעה איתיימה דמשום לעז, כמו שכתב בתוספות לקמן, על כורכך, דלא ידע נמי, by the way, the way he's saying, ולא ידע איתיימה דמשום לעז. That's the only thing he didn't know. That the reason is because of לעז. על כורכך, דלא ידע נמי אך ברייתא, דהו עצמו שהביא איתו, אין צריך. So this is the last part. So we said the Makshe didn't know the Braita. Why it's so compelling the Makshe didn't know the Braita? And the Rav Rafael asked why we don't say that in the Ava Amine they didn't know the Braita. Rav Leo, שומע? Why the Makshe didn't know the Braita? The Shaila of Tosfot was from the Braita. The Braita, the Baal doesn't need to be מערער. יפה? If the Baal doesn't need to מערער from the Braita, why we didn't answer simple that in the Ava Amina we didn't know the Braita. Why do we need to say the Makshe didn't know the Braita? Because I was thinking, in order to say that somebody didn't know Braita, you need no way out. No other way out than saying somebody didn't know a Braita. Right? The way we're explaining, there is a simple way out. There is a simple way out for the Hava Amine. Nachon Tosfot says, if the way we understood this was in the Hava Amine that they knew already the Maskone, you can say they didn't know the Braisa. That's a better answer. But the way we are saying, they knew the Maskone, that only the last part of the Maskone, and saying by the Makshe, by the Hava Amine, they didn't know Braisa. No, also, if you're going to say that they didn't know the Braisa, I had a problem with that. If going to say, help me, if going to say in the Hava Amine they didn't know the Braisa, that means they don't know that the Baal needs to bring, the Baal needs to say בפני נכתב, נכון? No, okay, I think that's right. If in the Hava Amine they didn't know the Braisa,
which person? Dafe. The person Dafe.
Yeah.
Right? How can they say בכלל in the Hava Amine that you need to say בפני נכתב for, how did they know that בפני נכתב? Why it's enough? If they didn't know the Braisa, באמת, I'm confusing it? לא, מחילה. leave it up, היה לי זה בא. זה בוא לא כך כל טוב, זה יצא. אז simple פשט. In the Hava Amine, we only compelled to say only Bamakshay didn't know the Baraisa than saying it to the Avamine. If in the Avamine you use the original understanding of Tosfot,
That is for Dayanim.
שבאמת they didn't know the Maskone of the Gemara, it is easier to say that they didn't know the Braita. But if you say that they knew if you say the way we're learning, in the Avamine we just took the Maskone that it's only Laz. It's not that they said the Maskone of the answer that it's only Miut. Then you have a problem only by the Makshe. Only by the Makshe you need to say that they didn't know the Braisa. Meaning, in order to somebody don't matter, you must be compelled to such a situation. In the Avamine, if you understand the Avamine, they knew already the whole Maskone of the Gemara, it's easier to say they didn't know the Braisa. Since we're learning to just understand the Maskone of Laz only, then it's not a better answer to say they didn't know the Braisa. That's why only the Makshe didn't know the Braisa. I'm sorry if it's early, but
I
it's
don't
one
understand
smoother.
how
No?
Tosfot understands in Daf Hey that there is an inyan of Laz. Where does he get this idea of Laz in Daf Hey?
He doesn't get it in Daf, he get it here.
Oh, he got it here.
Yeah, that's what he said. Based on the Vayter in the Gemara,
And just based off the fact that the husband himself, he wouldn't saying, I don't just copy the idea. Where did he get it from?
no, so since he get it from Vayter, since in the Gemara said that Miyud Dayonim, it's only,
Right.
that's only Laz. We understood that
What do you
Dayonim
mean
is
it's only Laz?
the Dayanim, the problem with Dayanim, it's a Laz, it's not a problem in the get itself. That was the answer of the
Shedayanim.
Gemara. Miyud Dayanim, it's a Laz. How do you know from the end of the Gemara that Miyud Dayanim, it's a
What's
Laz?
not new Dayanim to Laz?
Miyud Dayanim, we don't know.
Yeah.
It's only a Laz. How do
They
we
don't know
know?
Lishma, it's a Laz on them if we were.
It's a Laz on them, not a problem on the get. How do we know that from the Gemara?
Yeah, how?
Because if Miyud Dayanim will be a problem in the get itself, we didn't need to get the answer of a Tzarchu Rabbanan. Miyud Dayanim, you have already Miyud on the get.
No, because the Rabbanan is telling you the problem is in the get, not the problem in the Dayanim.
Okay, so that's a raya. Because
How's that a raya? It's
if
the opposite.
if a Miyud Dayanim it's a problem on the get itself, we don't need Tzarchu Rabbanan. That's a raya that Miyud Dayanim is not a problem on the get. That's the whole point.
No, he's telling you the problem is not in the Dayanim, it's on the get.
No, but so you see in the Gemara, since the Gemara says V'Rabban Natzchu, when the Gemara says Rov Dayanim B'Kinen, it's not a problem on the get. Dayanim is not a problem on the get.
Correct.
Why not?
Problem with
It
Dayanim.
must be Laz.
Why get to that conclusion?
No,
That's
because
Laz?
you have two problems. This is problem on the get or Laz on the Dayanim. Those are the
Simple,
two
'cause
options.
If you have a mute, you never choshesh to
Right.
the say for now or
If you are choshesh for the mute,
So,
Why
and even if
can
you're
you
choshesh, say
Why
stam
can you
sifla.
חושש for stam?
do you have any other option?
מזויף?
No, כי תראה, אין פה מזויף, תן לשמוע. So if it's not a problem of Dayanim, it must be a problem of Laz. This is where Tosfos got it. By the way, something important to know. I think I saw the Ritva says that בעדות אישה, באשת איש, הוא חושש אפילו למיעוט. כן? The Ritva said, because usually in general in the Torah, we're not חושש למיעוט. You must say that, if not, the Gemara doesn't work. Usually in the Torah, we are not חושש למיעוט. אנחנו הורגים. The Gemara says the case of חליצה, קטן וקטנה, רש"י brings, that's the case of מחלוקת. רבי מאיר רק מיעוטה דמיעוטה חוששים, וחכמים מיעוט לא חוששים. Why here חוששים? Both of them do רייסה. So Ritva, I think it's a Ritva. It says, אשת איש, we are מחמיר to be חושש למיעוט. But again, the miut needs to be on the get itself, not something external, because if you're already חושש for miut, it's got to be something within it.